Good evening, Moonscouts. I'm your troop leader, Bunnie, and welcome to Campfire Tales. Come sit close to the fire and listen to what I have in store for you tonight. Corpses of the Red Colt House by W.E. Jenkins. A bed of nails was bolted to the floor in a white room. No windows, black carpet, old books, and strange fumes. Dolls on the floor, soiled, tattered, and gray. A scene from the past where children once played. There was blood on the walls and grime on the floor. At the far side of the room stood an old wooden door. With a pounding heartbeat and sweat dripping lightly, I gripped the door knob, turning ever so slightly. I gave it a push to open the door. I stepped through the threshold, prepared to explore. Into a hallway, a long corridor, again with the fumes and the grime on the floor. The air here was festering, the hall dark and cold. Chains hung from the ceiling, each one held light bulbs. The rafters above hosted shadows at playholes in the walls, leaked a slight glimpse of day. Pestilence crawled all over the walls and the floors. The movement of rats seen through cracks in the boards. I continued to tread over layers of filth. The fumes grew more pungent. The air grew more still. I slowly drew near the end of the hall. I stopped dead in my tracks, with one hand on the wall. Sitting there, motionless and dead on the floor, a corpse cold and rotting, at rest by the door. His flesh was decayed under his t-shirt and shorts. Maggots filled deep lacerations of sorts. This hall was his tomb. This floor was his grave. Rats ate at the remains of his legs, chest, and face. Flies swarmed around him. His smell was a plague. His corpse like a painting of death in this place. I refrained from disturbing this dead sight of gore. I passed through the next door to wander some more. The next room was dim, and it smelled like the rest. The stench grew much stronger, causing shortness of breath. 2 windows were present, one on each side. Although they were filthy, they still let in light. The brick room was barren, with black walls and floors. There were no dead bodies or old wooden doors. No, this room held 2 structures. That's all that I found, 2 spiral staircases, one up and one down. The stairs that went up must have led to an attic. The stairwell I chose spiraled down into blackness. I tried to step lightly as I strolled down the steps, descending down into darkness and depth. The smell grew so violently dense that choked. The scent was unnerving. It pierced through my throat. I finally reached the bottom, and the stairs were all gone. I stood on the floors built from red cobblestone. Standing under an archway, I stared into a room, a glowing cathedral. It was cold like a tomb. The smell was horrific. It polluted this hell, this chamber of malice where so many fell. Mounted to red walls of stone all around were solid steel torches mere feet from the ground. These still burning torches, the sources of the glow. How they were still burning, I did not want to know. There were rows upon rows of pews built from wood, with an aisle down the center that starts where I stood. Something else shocked me once it caught my eye. The death smell was strong here. I had just found out why. A most haunting image that filled me with fright. The source of the stench had just come to light. A sense of affliction I'll never forget. A corpse congregation, a room full of death. Each row of pews was packed tight with cadavers, taking their seats before death and thereafter. Each corpse was dressed in elegant silk garments, each garment now ragged with the signs of past carnage. The flesh of the bodies was rotten and gray. Some were just bone as the skin rots away. I walked the aisle slowly, lost in a daze, distraught and perplexed by the death in this place. A crowd of cold corpses, all pale, dead, and gray, each one facing forward. It's here that they'll stay. The aisle I walked ended and stood there to face a large wooden platform once used as a stage. In this place of dark worship, this vile cathedral, the pews faced the stage faced the people. Fixed on the stage were 2 torches on fire. They burned and they glowed like a funeral pyre. A podium stood in between the 2 flames. On its front-facing surface, a symbol engraved. I approached the stage slowly and ascended its steps. Into my thoughts, an odd feeling crept. My thoughts were of darkness, much colder than fear. I dreaded the thought of a foe drawing near. At rest on the podium was a leather-bound book. My brain seemed to push me to taking a look. Softly and slowly, I opened the cover. Dust rose from the pages, one after another. With pages of passages, artwork, and pictures, the book told a story with each passing scripture. I saw what I wanted, and then I closed the cover. I knew of this place. It could be no other. The sights in this house brought back old stories, tales from my childhood. They all had been warnings. My family, my elders, they told me about the rumors of corpses in the dead red cult house. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, Moonscouts. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's video. If you did, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to Camp Brightmoon. And don't forget to hit the little bell button so you don't miss any new videos. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those links will be in the description below. And we have a Camp Brightmoon Patreon page. So thank you so much again, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!